Alright, so I guess my channel has become a dedicated video game showcase coverage channel here, as we have another one popping up onto the scene. We have this Marvel Disney video game showcase. This is their first ever video game showcase, and I debated on if this is worthy of like a full episode on the channel, but the more I started thinking about it and the more I was like looking into the different possibilities and some of the different potential things that could pop up here, I was like, yeah, I think we should dive a little deeper into this. Okay, so just to catch everyone up real quick, if you didn't see this news break, it's just announced, watch the Disney and Marvel Games Showcase Friday, September 9th, live from the D23 Expo. Going to pull up the article real quick and go over a couple of the big points, and then we'll get into some different speculations and predictions and discussions surrounding the event. Okay, it says the digital showcase will feature incredible new content from Disney and Pixar games, Marvel games, Lucasfilms games, and 20th Century games. In addition to all new announcements, fans can expect new reveals from titles including Disney Dreamlight Valley, Marvel's Midnight Suns, which we were talking about at Gamescom 2022. If Marvel's Midnight Suns would pop back up there with its new release date trailer, I would feel pretty confident in saying that the new Marvel's Midnight Suns release date trailer will be here on September 9th at this D23 showcase. And it also, we're going to see Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga pop back up there, assuming some DLC for that. And we will also be seeing a sneak peek at an upcoming Marvel Ensemble game from Skydance New Media. And this is really what I am the most excited about, hands down, not even close. Amy Hennig's latest game, partnering with Marvel. There's so much speculation, so much rumor about what this game is. It's finally time to see it, and I'm not expecting really gameplay at this stage. It was just announced, I believe, last year, and so I'm assuming they're not like, in late stages of development here where they're going to be ready to show off in-depth look at gameplay, but just to know which hero they're choosing to work on. Which hero is Amy Hennig going to be creating this new story for? And I don't know, man, like after that shit with Project Ragtag and EA's just total incompetence, it's just nice to see Amy Hennig back working on a project that's on that scale, and she's also working on a new Star Wars game with Skydance as well. So this is a true redemptive arc for her story. Horrible mismanagement on EA's end for not getting out that game, and now that was in the phase of EA where they were all about multiplayer online shit, thinking that single player games were dead, and then they had Jedi Fallen Order come out. It totally changed their tune on all their belief systems with single player games. And all that we really do know from Amy Hennig's new game with Skydance is that it is going to be a single player, third person, AAA action adventure style of experience. I have their website pulled up, skydance.com, where they detail a little bit as to what they're expecting and what they're hoping this game will be. This was from October 29th, 2021, when it first got out that this game was in development. It says Skydance New Media, the new interactive division of Skydance Media, helmed by award-winning writer and director Amy Hennig, announced today a partnership with Marvel Entertainment to develop a narrative-driven blockbuster action-adventure game featuring a completely original story and take on the Marvel Universe. This marks the first initiative from the AAA game studio, which was formed by Hennig and Electronic Arts veteran Julian Beek to pioneer a new category of story-focused interactive entertainment, a groundbreaking convergence of games, film, and television. Let's go, man. That all sounds like music to my ears, and millions of others out there who have been craving a return to real single player narrative driven experiences in the game world. And you can't think of many more talented, more capable people than Amy Hennig to lead this new initiative. You know, if you're Skydance, that's a perfect hire. You're talking about someone who was the lead writer for so many great story-focused games, the Soul Reaver titles, Uncharted 1 through 3. I mean, she is a master storyteller, and I'm just really eager to see what this is. The speculation right now, the rumor right now is that it's either going to be a Fantastic Four title or it's going to be a Ant-Man title. Ben Hansen has a real good breakdown. It's a 5-minute video on the MinMax YouTube page that I'll have pulled up here, and I'll link it. But he makes a case for why he believes it's going to be a Fantastic Four game. And one of the main points that he emphasizes here is a quote directly from Hennig on that article that we were just looking over, where Amy Hennig says, "The Marvel Universe epitomizes all the action, mystery, and thrills of the pulp adventure genre that I adore and lends itself perfectly to an interactive experience. It's an honor to be able to tell an original story with all the humanity, complexity, and humor that makes Marvel characters so enduring, and to able our players to embody these heroes, plural, that they love." And I would say that that is pretty revealing. I mean, she could be just making a general statement there. That's definitely a possibility. But, you know, to be able to embody these heroes that they love, I do think that makes you think it may be more of a group-centric style of game. And in this video, he also points out the fact that Mark Bernardin on Fat Man and Beyond with Kevin Smith revealed that he had been writing the game, and as they were talking about, you know, what the game is and just talking about the writing process, Mark Bernardin talking about his writing process, Kevin Smith said, "I saw someone in my chat nail it." And Hansen went back and replayed through the chat, and, you know, he was seeing a lot of, it's going to be Spider-Man 2 from Insomniac, it's going to be the Firaxis game, it's going to be a Black Panther game, and we know now Black Panther, EA, Spider-Man 2, Insomniac, Firaxis, obviously with Midnight Suns. And he said that going back through that chat, the only other like prominent guesses were a Fantastic Four title. So, you know, obviously this is all very speculative, but I do think that with, you know, Ben Hansen's career at Game Informer and shit, he's a little bit more credible. And I think when he does dive deep into things, he's probably going to pull, you know, he's going to dive as deep as possible and try to get as accurate of information as he possibly can. And like I said, all of this is definitely speculation. Any of this could be wrong. I don't think he was going out there putting his neck on the line and saying, hey, you know, this is absolutely what it is. We're all just kind of guessing, but that's probably the best guess that I've personally seen so far as to what this game could be. Now, when we're talking about groups and Marvel hero groups that we could possibly see a game developed for, I would much prefer X-Men over Fantastic Four. I know there's been, you know, you have like your X-Men Destinies, and I just feel like X-Men as a entire group has never really gotten the proper treatment that it needs in video game form. And you can, you know, say the same thing about Fantastic Four, but I would just say, I don't know, once again, this is just personal opinion, but to me, X-Men just feels like a little bit more of a prominent, more popular group that I think would probably, you know, sell a little bit better. You have Wolverine on the box art there and Professor X on the box art there. I think that, you know, generally you're walking into a store, you're walking into a Walmart or a Best Buy, 95% of people will be able to recognize Wolverine, which you could probably say the same thing for the Thing, but, you know, I just think there's so much complexity and interesting story bits within the X-Men universe, you know, the mutant versus human, like interstitial politics. And I really love that story, the Magneto Professor X brotherhood story. And even when you look at X-Men Destiny, and I don't hate X-Men Destiny. I understand that it's not a great game, but I think there's a template there with X-Men Destiny that if you had the right team exploring that, I think some real cool shit could be done where you're creating your own mutant and you have your backstory, you're making choices. You can either end up with Magneto fighting against Professor X and the X-Men, or you can end up with the X-Men fighting against Magneto. Like, I really like a lot of things about that X-Men Destiny game. It just, it didn't nail the landing necessarily. But regardless, I'm pretty sure whatever we're going to see from this team, I'm assuming it'll be pretty damn cool. I'm assuming, it'll have some Uncharted feel to it with the, cinematic experience with maybe some of those same platforming elements introduced depending on which characters you're using. And yeah, the game, I'm pretty sure that game will be sick. But like I said, I don't go into this showcase expecting a 5-minute gameplay trailer. If we even got a snippet of gameplay with some cinematics, just and seeing, who the heroes are that we're going to be playing as, and get some, story details, or have Amy Hennig come out on stage or the team come out on stage and kind of get to know the developers who are working on the game a little bit better and see, who they have hand selected from other studios that have, this legacy or this great resume for working on other titles, so we can maybe start to, decipher a little bit better. Go, oh, I know that guy. He worked on this game. I know that, I know that lady. She worked on that game. And we can kind of start trying to piece together a little bit more on how this thing is actually going to play when we get our hands on it. All right, so that's enough rambling about the Skydance Media Marvel game. We'll go through, because there's a lot of other possibilities of what could pop up here, and we'll go through real quick and just look through the different possible options here. In the little trailer that they dropped, there was a glimpse of Avatar, and I'm guessing that is Avatar from Ubisoft's Avatar game. So it looks like we're probably going to be seeing Avatar back here at this Disney showcase. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'd like to see some gameplay on that, just to have some semblance of an idea as to what the hell that game could be. Also, in that trailer, it looks like we're going to be seeing something from that Aliens Dark Descent, the turn-based tactic style of game that didn't look really all that great, if we're being honest. Whenever they showed the gameplay, it looked kind of mobile-esque, but I don't know. It had some cool cinematics and shit in the trailer, but I don't think those cinematics will be any indication of what the in-game cinematics are going to be, but who knows? We obviously have Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine from Insomniac in development. I would say very, very unlikely for those to pop up here, at least in my opinion. I would think that that's probably more of a PlayStation Showcase style of event for both of those games, unless I guess you could maybe make the argument at this point that there might not be a PlayStation Showcase this year, and if that's the case, then I think it makes all the sense in the world for one or both of those games to pop up here at this, what are they calling it? The D23 Expo? I'm just going to call it the Disney Marvel Games Showcase. And you got to think, with Ubisoft's Avatar being there, that their Star Wars game probably won't be there. And that would also make me think that that game's probably a bit out, like, 2025-ish, 2026-ish, which really sucks, because the idea of that game, of like an Assassin's Creed, but you're playing as a damn Star Wars character with maybe like different vehicles to fly around in this Beyond Good and Evil 2 style, like, or depending on the maybe pick between different characters, have a more role-playing based experience where you can either be a bounty hunter or a Jedi, and have a Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order experience, but in this big-ass Ubisoft open world. Like, I really do think that game sounds so damn cool, but yeah, I doubt we'll be seeing it for quite some time, unfortunately. We also have David Cage's, or Quantic Dream's, new Star Wars game, the Eclipse, Star Wars Eclipse title that was revealed. Was that? I think that might have been at a PlayStation showcase as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that was revealed, and then right after it was revealed, a bunch of articles were dropping saying that Quantic Dream's new Star Wars game is going to be releasing in 2027. It's like, Jesus Christ, why reveal a game that's not going to come out for another 5-6 years? That just sounds like absolute insanity to me. But to be fair to Quantic Dreams, the reporting on that could be totally false, and we might get the game in 2024, and it might be fine, and, have a David Cage, a Detroit Become Human style of Star Wars experience. But they're talking about with this Quantic Dreams game that there's going to be more of an action focus, and that leaves me a little bit worried, but also kind of curious, because Quantic Dreams have never really incorporated any real action elements in their games. From Indigo Prophecy up until Detroit Become Human, they've all been really by the books with a very similar structure to each and every single one, like little incremental improvements and obviously visual improvements. And then when you get to Detroit Become Human, some real branching and weaving plotline improvements. But in terms of the moment-to-moment gameplay, they've all been very, very similar. So that could definitely be why it might take another 25 years before we see the damn thing. And then there's that new Star Wars Hunters title that's going to be dropping on mobile and Switch. I don't know. Sure, I guess. And then there's all the stuff from Respawn. The first-person shooter, the tactics game, the Jedi Fallen Order 2, or Jedi Survivor. So maybe one or two of those could make an appearance. I would say doubtful, but this is kind of the whole thing with this being the first showcase, the first Marvel Disney game showcase. It's that we really have no idea what to expect because it's never been done before. At least with like Keeley, he'll throw out a tweet a couple days before Gamescom or a couple days before the Game Awards and say, hey, it's a slow year. Developers and publishers are being impacted by COVID, so don't have your expectations too high. With this, it's just the Wild Wild West. We have no fucking clue what we're going to get here. You have that rumored Black Panther game that was leaked by Jeff Grubb that's being developed by Kevin Stevens' new team, the team in Seattle that he was the lead for Monolith for like Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor, and supposedly this Black Panther game is another brand new third-person cinematic open world action adventure title that's probably going to play and feel similar to your Arkham's and Shadow of Mordor style of games. That's another one that is extremely, extremely early in development if it's, if the rumors are to be believed. So very, very doubtful that pops up for quite some time. But yeah, those are kind of the games right now that at least are known in the Marvel and Star Wars umbrella. I'm sure there's something in there that I'm missing, but there's actually not a ton. I hear people a lot often saying, different podcasters or different, people in the industry saying things like they think that there's too many Star Wars and Marvel games in development right now, and that there may come this period of oversaturation. And I don't know, I kind of disagree with that. Like, if we go over this list here, the only Marvel games in development right now are Midnight Suns, Spider-Man 2, Wolverine, this Skydance new media game, the Marvel Snap kind of mobile, shit, allegedly the rumored Black Panther game, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that is about it. And then with Star Wars, you only have the Ubisoft game, the David Cage game, the mobile and Switch, the Hunters game, and then you have the 3 Respawn titles. And then did I say Ubisoft? I think I did say the Ubisoft games. So there's really not a ton in development, especially when you look at like what I consider the golden age of gaming with that 6th generation, and how many Marvel and superhero and Star Wars games came out in that era. And it's like, I don't know, it didn't affect the 6th generation of games, in my opinion. Like, yeah, there were a lot, and it was probably slightly oversaturated, but you were still getting brand new, unique experiences, innovative experiences from many other developers. And you got a lot of really cool superhero games in that period as well. You got Ultimate Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 and The Punisher, and then awesome-ass Star Wars games like KOTOR and Jedi Outcast 1 and 2, and then you just got a lot of different experiences across the board. So I don't know, I think there's actually, if anything, not enough Marvel and Star Wars games in development or, out and available for us to play right now. And with that being said, how about we talk about the hopes? What we would love to see if we could just, ask the gaming gods above to grant us this one Marvel title or this one Star Wars title to pop up here on September 9th at this Disney Marvel showcase thing. I want to know what you would ask the good old gaming gods for, and I'll tell you what I would ask the good old gaming gods for. I feel like Xbox not having a Marvel game kind of blows. You know, you have Ultimate Alliance 3 on the Switch. You have the Spider-Man and Wolverine games exclusive to the PlayStation. And Xbox doesn't have anything Marvel or Star Wars related. And I personally would really just love to see the coalition with a Punisher game. I mean, nothing else really needs to be said there. I think that's peanut butter and jelly. That makes all the sense in the world. I don't understand how that conversation has never happened. You know, that's an obvious choice. And the Punisher for the PS2 is one of the coolest damn superhero games ever made. If they could rekindle that magic running on Unreal Engine 5, just this gore fest, this brutal third-person shooter made by the Coalition, like, everybody would be so on board for that. And talking about, you know, a Fantastic Four game, I think that Arcane would make a sick-ass Fantastic Four game. I would love to see Arcane work on Fantastic Four, or like Doctor Strange with all the different, you know, abilities and magic that you could be pulling off there, and the dimensional shifts and the you know, time loops and all that damn, you know, kind of the Ghostwire Tokyo, you know, how they were stringing along these spells and it looked like you were the puppet master as you're weaving your hands in these different directions and casting spells. Like, I would love to see what Arcane could pull off with a Doctor Strange game. A very easy one, once again, that I would love to see is Remedy and Star Wars. A Jedi game with, you know, Remedy developing it. You look at Control and the telekinetic abilities that are essentially just Force abilities with Control. I mean, just send that in to Lucasfilm's games as your audition tape and say, hey, you know, this probably works for Star Wars. Can you just give me a license? And I think you should probably get the license. And I feel at some point Iron Man has to have a legit game made. And what I would like to see is, I just finished playing Dark Void a little bit ago. I would like to see a real Iron Man game made similarly to Dark Void. I know that studio is now defunct, but Capcom, go back, find that talent, band them back together, get the assets, and figure out what they did to make that Dark Void game run the way it did. Find a way to modernize that, to have it running on next-gen hardware, and I think that would be perfect for an Iron Man game. I really think they nailed it with Dark Void, but just give it the Iron Man skin and, you know, let that damn thing sell like hotcakes. But my dream game of all dream games, and then I'll talk about this one until the cows come home. If the gaming gods would just grant me an Obsidian developed or a BioWare developed X-Men role-playing game, that's all I want. I want to create an X-Men character. I want to create my own mutant. I want to have, like we talked about earlier, that kind of Destiny, X-Men Destiny-like experience, but with a more fleshed out story, more fleshed out combat, and you know, just a better gameplay loop to engage with. Obsidian, BioWare, those are the two developers that I would really, really pray for to get the license to that. I know it probably won't ever happen in my lifetime, but one can wish, man. That would be my one. If out of anything else in the world, Marvel related or Star Wars related, whatever, that would be my one real wish. And, you know, a KOTOR remake from BioWare, I think would be another one of mine. That's something we didn't even talk about. I guess we didn't talk about it for a reason, because you can't consider that in development. I don't think that Aspire KOTOR remake, that is a train wreck. Just an absolute train wreck. So, yeah, we won't even get into that. That's not going to pop up here. I don't think we're ever going to see that game again. But regardless, those are my hopes, predictions, wishes, and just overall coverage of this thing. I'm really excited to see this on September 9th, because this could be a big thing that we can look forward to in the future. I do want Marvel and Star Wars to have a little gaming universe. You know, I'm not saying a phase 8, 12, 1400 and you have 78 movies, you know, how with the MCU you have 400 movies that you have to watch each year, 752 television shows. And with the games, it would be nice to get 2-3 Marvel or Star Wars titles each year that we could play and look forward to. I don't think that's hurting anybody. I know there's a lot of naysayers out there who don't want more Marvel, more Star Wars, but I mean, you just think about the different mechanics and the cool moves and shit you can pull off with those characters. It's just fun to utilize that in game form. So that's enough of my rambling about this event. Probably way too much rambling about an event we don't know anything about, but that's kind of the fun part of speculation and coverage and just looking forward to and hoping for cool shit to pop up. So let me know in the comments below what you want to see here. What do you want to see pop up at this event? If you had one wish, let me know what it would be down in the comments below, and I will read through all of those. Appreciate you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.